أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Welcome to Receiving Nur Weekly Quranic Wisdom Study. We have been studying 33rd word from Words, which is from Risale Nur collection by Badiu'izzaman Said Nursi. And we are exploring windows opening up to our creator's beautiful names. And today, inshallah, we will start a new window. As usual, Dr. Yamina is leading us in the study. Jazakallah khair, Dr. Yamina. And we want to also do this in the format of reflecting together. So even though we have a text in front of us and many of us are seeing the text for the first time, there is some reservation or shyness that comes with reading the text for the first time. And definitely we appreciate very much Dr. Yamina's explanations. At the same time, we want to reflect together. So as we are reading, inshallah, share your questions, your comments, examples you can think of, applications you can think of. And inshallah, it will be a fruitful session. Without further delay, I turn to Dr. Yamina to lead us tonight, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, Dr. Yamina.
Thank you, Isra. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. So this is the sixth week and the sixth window. This is the sixth window of 33 windows, and these 33 windows look on to the guidance and the wisdom of Ayah 53 of Surah 41, Surah Fussilat. And so it's not through the guidance, of course, of the rest of the Quran as well, but taking this ayah as a main istiqamah, showing us the way, the light, the direction. It is a journey of looking at the ayat, the signposts, the messages of from God in the creation, and part of the creation is ourselves. Just to remind ourselves, the ayah 53 of Surah 41 says, in time we shall show them ayat in the horizons, meaning in the outer world and within themselves, so that it will become clear unto them that it is indeed the truth, that this message is indeed the truth. Still, is it not enough that your Rabb, your sustainer, is witness unto everything? سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق أولم يكفي بربك أنه على كل شيء شهيد. So this sixth window, we will see, inshallah, it's a little bit longer than the previous ones. And it is a window onto the perfection of Rububiyyah. And we can talk again what Rububiyyah is, what it means. It is translated here as dominicality. So whatever, dominicality doesn't mean much to me. I just keep in mind that this is referring to Rububiyyah, which means the activity of Rabb. Rabb is the one of the rendering is sustainer, Lord, but it's much more than that, inshallah. So maybe someone can volunteer and read the text for us first. Anyone?
Assalamu alaikum. I can do it.
Thank you. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you.
Okay. The sixth window. Bismillah. In the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation of night and day, and the boats which travel through the seas for the benefit of men, and in what God sends down from the sky as rain, and with it raises to life the earth after its death, and raises in it every sort of living being, and in the circulating of the winds and the clouds subjugated between the heavens and the earth are signs for a people who thinks. This verse both points out the divine existence and unity and forms a truly large window displaying a greatest name. The gist of the verse is this: all the worlds in the higher and lower levels of the universe show with all different tongues a single result, that is, the dominicality of a single all-wise maker. It is as follows: just as in the heavens, and astronomy even admits to it, extremely well-ordered movements for extremely extensive results show the existence, unity, and perfect dominicality of an all-powerful one of glory, so too on the earth. And geography even testifies to it and acknowledges it. Most orderly changes, like in the seasons, for most extensive benefits, show the existence and unity and perfect dominicality of the same all-powerful one of glory. Also, just as being given their sustenance with perfect mercy, and being clothed in different forms with perfect wisdom, and being decked out with all sorts of senses through perfect dominicality, each of all the animals on the land and in the sea again testifies to the existence of the all-powerful one of glory and indicates his unity. So in their totality do they show on a vast scale the tremendousness of his Godhead and the perfection of his dominicality. So too, just as each of the well-ordered plants in gardens, and the finely adorned flowers which the plants display, and the well-proportioned fruits which the flowers display, and the embellished embroideries which the fruits display, testifies to the existence of the all-wise Maker, and points to his unity, so too in their totality do they show most brilliantly the beauty of his mercy and the perfection of his dominicality. Also, just as the drops of rain sent from the clouds in the sky, charged with duties for important instances of wisdom and aims and necessary benefits and results, again demonstrate to the number of their drops the necessary existence and unity and perfect dominicality of the all-wise Maker, so too do all the mountains on the earth and the storing up in them of minerals with all their different properties for numerous different benefits show with the strength and firmness of a mountain the existence and unity of the all-wise Maker and the perfection of his dominicality. Also, just as, being adorned with numerous varieties of well-ordered flowers, the small hills in the plains and among the mountains, each testifies to the necessary existence of an all-wise Maker, and points to his unity, and all together show the majesty of his sovereignty and the perfection of his dominicality. So the great variety of the orderly shapes of all the leaves of the grasses and trees, and all their different stages and states, and well-balanced and ecstatic movements, again show the necessary existence and unity and perfect dominicality of the all-wise Maker. Also, just as the regular development at the time of their growth of all living bodies, and each being equipped with all sorts of organs, and their being directed consciously towards numerous different fruits, again testify to the necessary existence of the all-wise Maker, and indicate his unity, and in their totality show on a truly vast scale his all-encompassing power, and all-encompassing wisdom, and the beauty of his art, and the perfection of his dominicality. So too souls and spirits being situated in all animal bodies, and their being armed in most orderly fashion with numerous sorts of systems and faculties, and their being sent on numerous different errands with perfect wisdom, testify to the number of animals, indeed to the number of their faculties, to the necessary existence of the all-wise maker and point to his unity. And in their totality, they show most brilliantly the beauty of his mercy and the perfection of his dominicality. Also, just as the inspirations from the unseen imparted to all hearts, which make known to man every sort of science and knowledge and truth, and teach the animals how to procure their needs, make known the existence of an all-compassionate sustainer, and point to his dominicality, so their external and internal senses, which like rays gathering immaterial flowers from the garden of the universe, are all keys to different worlds, demonstrate as clearly as the sun the necessary existence, unity, and perfect dominicality of the all-wise maker, the all-knowing creator, the most compassionate creator, the all-generous provider. Thus, from the 12 windows, the 12 aspects mentioned here, a vast window opens, which displays with a 12-colored light of truth the oneness, unity, and perfect dominicality of God Almighty. O unhappy denier, with what can you block up this window, which is as broad as the globe of the earth, indeed as its yearly orbit? And with what can you extinguish the source of light, which shines like the sun, behind which veil of heedlessness can you hide it?
Thank you. Thank you, Jazakallah khair. It's a quite detailed and a profound window. It teaches us how to reflect. So it's here there is another ayah at the beginning. It's from Surah Al-Baqara, ayah 164. In order to give some context, I start with 163. In one, so the ayah that comes right before, we are told, وَإِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ هُوَ الرَّحْمَنُ الرَّحِيمُ. Your God is the one God. There is no deity, no God except Him, the most compassionate, the most merciful, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. I mean, always I repeat, we think the whole teaching of Islam as a religion, and especially the main goal of the Quran is to teach us Tawheed, which means unifying everything, realizing that everything proceeds from one single source. There is only one source of existence, one source of being, one source of goodness, one source of beauty and perfection, one source of whatever we long for. But we usually are not aware of that, and we understand Tawheed as one God. I believe in one God, as opposed to, I don't believe in 2 gods, 3 gods, 4 gods. No, one God. But if we don't know God, if my belief, if what I imagine to be belief is only not denying the existence of God, then there is a lots of possibility for other things to claim creativity in my world, in my perception. And they do. Because I have never testified and confirmed and affirmed and verified that truly there is only one source of anything. And so when we are told your God is the one God, it doesn't mean like, okay, I know this. No, if something is told to us in the Quran, it means it is very important. And it means it's something that we could not think about and find on our own. It needs to be revealed unto us. Once it's revealed unto us, because it is so reasonable, because it is so in alignment with our fitra, with our nature, with the creation, because it's the word of the maker, the creator, it makes sense and it seems, yes, of course. However, we need to reflect, your God is one, the one God. It means there is no, and it says there is no other God except him. Other things that you think are creating, are efficient causes, are producing anything, you yourself and other things, you have to revise that. That's called shirk, associating partners with God. And after that, it's and then 164, we are told how to do this. It says, in the creation, so here in the creation, inna fi khalqi samawati, indeed, surely, truly, in the process, khalq is an ing, in the process of the creation, in the creating of the heavens and the earth, and the alternation of night and day, and the boats which travel through the seas for the benefit of people, and in what God sends down from the sky as rain, and with it he raises to life the earth after its death, and raises in it every sort of living being, and in the circulating of the winds and the clouds subjugated between the heavens and the earth, there are ayat, there are signs, لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. It says here for people who think, I think it's for people who use their reason is more, it's closer to the origin. Because it's not, we think everything is thinking. Whatever comes to our mind randomly is thinking. No, here it's for people who reason, who follow reasoning consciously. You can't make ta'aqqul unconsciously. So you see, how are we going to know that our God is only one God and that there is no other God than him? Nothing is God except him. Through 164, looking, it's our attention is immediately turned onto the creation in the heavens and on earth.
Yamina, what is significant here in the text that we are studying, it goes beyond a mere initial observation, because everybody who has read some Quran knows that the Quran talks about nature. And then we stop there. We usually, look around you, you will see signs. And I'm excited about this window because it takes this verse and it will give us clues on how to do this reading, because we look around, okay, and but how is it a window opening to beautiful names of God? This is something we, just skip over in our daily life, and even in Islamic scholarship. That is, I'm not saying the entire scholarship, but oftentimes the ones that we are exposed to, it's just glossed over. It's not, look around you, you will see God's signs, and nobody quite knows how that's going to work. And so I'm excited about this passage. Inshallah, we will come to the sixth window with this eye, like what is it in here that is a helpful cue for me that I wouldn't be able to just get if I was on my own and just reading the translation or reading the plain sense in Arabic.
Yeah. And in this ayah, it's saying, it's something very important. It's telling us that all these things are ayat. If or when we are serious about our relationship with God, serious about fulfilling our purpose in life, serious about the meaning of life and the purpose of life, serious about not living in the darkness of ghafla, of not being aware of what we're doing here and who we are and whether we have who God is, if there is a God, who he is, and all that. If we are serious, when we are serious, then when we read an ayah like this, a passage, let's call it a passage for the moment like this, then I should just stop and say, just a second, how do I go around and how do I know that they are signs? If we start, there are two aspects to this. One is, even if I only read this text and go out and seriously reflect, just watch and stay there, present with these so-called signs, because I have not confirmed there are signs yet, they will start speaking to me at some level, at the level of the heart, at the level of the soul. I will feel the awe of something great, something beyond our power, something that exudes power and majesty going on in the world. Then I would also be more curious, and I will pay attention when I'm reading the Quran. We will pay more attention because in other passages, it does explain to us how they are being ayat. And so those wordings and all those hints and signs, because the words are also ayah, they are also signposts, will start speaking to me. I start picking on them. We only pick on a text and when we feel the need for it. If we don't feel the need, even if it's told to us very, explicitly, still, okay, we say, okay, good, and then we forget it. But if we if we truly feel the need for it, how are they ayat? How do I get to be present with the creation of all these phenomena going on in the world and interact with them as ayat, as we are told in this passage? Then even implicit explanations will attract my attention. And then we'll find that, oh, we are actually taught in the Quran, as we saw many times when we were going through the surahs, for instance, in Surah Al-Ra'd, we are given many reasonings, and after a while we get used to applying those principles, those reasoning principles, to anything in the world. And this is what we are being taught in all the words, actually, but in each window, we've seen in the past windows, we are taught a particular way of reasoning and questioning that leads us to the names of God. Each time it leads us to confirming and testifying that our God is only one God. And each time it ends with different names of God. In Ayah 2:163, before that I just mentioned, which is not mentioned here in this text, it says, Ar-Rahman, illa huwa ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. For instance, the most merciful, the most compassionate. But in the Quran, often it ends with names of God. And in these windows, it also ended with the names of God. So if we look here, it's saying this verse, this ayah, this Quranic ayah, because ayah is the passages in the Quran, as well as anything that's going on in the world, in the creation. So this ayah, this Quranic ayah, both points out the necessity of divine existence. I looked up the original, and the unity, actually it says wujub wa wahdat Allah. So it's like wujub is the necessity of his existence, and forms a truly large window displaying a greatest name. And I'm not going to stop on the greatest name because there are so many arguments about it, as long as it is a name of God. And the gist of the verse of this ayah is this: all the words here in the creation, in the higher and lower levels of the universe, show with all different tongues a single result. And what is this result? It is the rububiyyah of a single all-wise maker. So here there is rububiyyah, and rububiyyah, we can talk about it, you can ask questions, but if we pay attention to this window, it is what it is talking about is a description of rububiyyah as we testify in the creation around us. So it gives us, if we follow what the author is saying, and if we go and actually perform this tafakkur, this reflecting, then we will get glimpses, we will start becoming acquainted with God as Rabb, and we will start witnessing and perceiving his rububiyyah, or the athar, the how would you say, the athar of his rububiyyah? Let's say the reflection, the manifestation of his rububiyyah in the creation. And this is the rububiyyah of a single, there is only one maker, and he is all-wise because everything is created and made with wisdom. It is as follows. And then, so the first paragraph, look at the reasoning. This is a reasoning that you can find in the Quran here and there. It seems, as I mentioned before, it seems very simple once we are taught the reasoning, but it's not something that we can find on our own. It has to be the creator of this creation who reveals this to us. And he says, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, just as in the heavens, and astronomy even admits to it, that's not important. That's only like astronomy not only admits to it, astronomy is the evidence that the creation of the heavens is extremely well ordered. If it were not extremely well ordered, there would be no branch of science studying it, because we can't study something that is not ordered. When we study something, it means there is order. We are uncovering and discovering the order. That's what science does. So just as in the heavens, extremely well-ordered movements for extremely extensive results show the existence, unity, and perfect dominicality, perfect rububiyyah of an all-powerful one of glory. So too, so parallel the heavens, on the earth, and geography testifies to it and acknowledges it, most orderly changes, like in the seasons, for most extensive benefits, show the existence and unity and perfect rububiyyah of the same one, the all-powerful one of glory. So the reasoning here is there is order, and this order is not just haphazard order. It looks pretty, but no, it has results, extremely well ordered, extremely extensive results, beneficial results. The results are, first he says result and then extensive benefits. They are beneficial. They are beneficial for life, not only human life, all kinds of life. For instance, from one aspect, and from different aspects, there is perfection, there is beauty, there is glory, there is majesty, there is wisdom, there is knowledge, there is so there is order and whatever comes with the order, and the result of this order is beneficial results. This together is an ayah that indicates perfect rububiyyah of an all-powerful one of glory. Here it's an all-powerful one of glory. Can you see how beautiful the reasoning is? Of course, we need to keep in mind that in the past windows, we're already familiar with the reasoning that unconscious, ignorant, whatever, I don't know what other lifeless causes and things cannot create anything. This is now, we are supposed to have already gone through that in the previous ones. So here we don't go through that again. Now we are looking at how all those things are created and related to each other in an orderly manner that gives results that are so beneficial. We're not looking at each one thing. We're not still, but maybe they are making it themselves. No, we went through that. They themselves, everything is being made, is being created, is being sustained into existence, just like we are, whether they're living beings or inanimate. Even inanimate things, they need for a stone to be sitting there, a rock to be sitting there as it is, there is the atoms within it needs to be sustained, because there is no atom and no matter without motion. So there is everything is in constant motion. And just like who is sustaining our life, the one who is sustaining our life sustains the motion of everything, of inanimate things as well. I mean, even our own, we have a part that is life and a part that is matter. The physical part that is matter it's sustained through life, but also through something that is always in motion. Someone is sustaining them. There is a sustainer, a qayyum, not only Rabb, but a Rabb al-Qayyum. And so, again, it may seem like simple, but it is revelation. It is wahy. It is divine revelation. And therefore, in order, it is not revealed in vain, just like that. If it is taught in the Quran, it means that we need it. And in order to benefit from it, we have to internalize it. So it becomes our default way of perceiving things. And for that, we need to practice regular tafakkur. Even if it's a short time, it has to be constant and regular. And when we practice this way of tafakkur, not sitting on my own and saying, or order, no, I have to be in interaction with the order, with the creation. Walking outside in nature is something in the beginning is very useful until we become very comfortable with this reasoning. And then we can apply it to anything in our life when we are going to work, coming back, seeing the clouds, the rain, everything. But we have to be out there, actually seeing and experiencing looking at the heavens, looking at the earth, seeing how all kinds of life is being sustained, etc. Witnessing the order and the benefits to whatever extent. So we need to internalize it. We need to practice regular tafakkur until it becomes our default way of thinking, of reasoning, and consciously reasoning and perceiving the world and feeling the names of God at the end, feeling the rububiyyah, feeling this powerful one of glory, feeling the glory, testifying it. That's the only way we can make shahada. Otherwise, it's not shahada.
Dr. Yamina, so to highlight, then there are two things that I need to notice. One is order, and the other is the order having beneficial results.
Yes.
So, so this is helpful. So, because in the verse it talks about things that happen in an ordered way, regular way, and then it also points to how things have been sakhara, subjugated, which in here in this window is highlighted as results, extremely beneficial results.
There are other passages in the Quran where the results are more clearly stated. I didn't want to bring them here, but
yeah, even here, in circulation,
it's more explicit. But there are places where it's very explicit.
Yeah. So this is helpful as a clue, because together they really point to something beyond, and I feel like we can identify with these two things, or we can recognize these two things, order and beneficial results, in whatever situation we are, or whatever context we are looking at. You could be a scientist, or you could be a homemaker, or you could be I don't know, a pilot, anyone. You could be a parent, or from any walk of life. We can notice these things in our own way, because I'm just thinking the idea of order is something it's so ordered. The world is so ordered. There are these regularities, even when you drop a glass of water onto the floor, the way the glass breaks, the way the water splashes, it is unique. At the same time, we know that it's according to an order. If you drop another glass in the same angle, in the same way, it will have this, a similar distribution. And I can be, a homemaker, or a farmer, or an engineer, or whatever, and I can notice this. It's so interesting because it's everywhere. So we stop noticing it. When something is so common and consistent, then it becomes
granted.
Yeah, we don't even notice it, like the fish in the water. The fish doesn't notice the water because it's always there. So, I mean, I can't even think of a situation where it's not ordered. In the basic sense of the order, things happening according to a pattern.
We wouldn't be able to function.
Yeah.
Depend on that order, but we take it, as you said, it's like the fishing. We take it so much for granted.
Yeah.
Unless we learn this reasoning and apply it consciously, sincerely, consciously, our default will remain taking things for granted, which amounts to living in ghafla, in heedlessness, in disconnection with with who we are, with Rububiyyah, with God as our Rabb, and with the reality. And the result of that, whether we intend it or not, is a shirki perception of the world, associating partners with God, because we will see things happening on their own. That's how they will seem to us. And it's not because we intend it, but that's exactly what heedlessness is about, not intending, not being conscious. And it's not because, or let's say the other way around, and it's because when we don't take things seriously and follow the divine revelation, and following divine revelation means, in this case, following this reasoning, applying it in our daily life. If I don't apply it, then it means what will happen is we don't take creational ayat seriously. The ayat in the creation, we don't take them seriously in the sense of ayat. We may take them seriously if we have a worldly benefit from them, but not as ayat, not as messages or messengers from God. We don't perceive them as messengers, and we are not even interested. And often people, they say, I know, we know. I know in the Quran everything is an ayah, full stop. Now let me live my life. How do you know it's an ayah? How do you know if it's an ayah if you never testified it? You never perceived it an ayah. You don't know what an ayah is. And if we do perceive things as an ayat, then definitely we will see that all the ayat are glorifying God and reciting his beautiful names not in words, but in different ways. They are reflecting his names. They are telling us about God. So the creation is not an obstacle to remembering God. It's the other way around. The creation is reminding us of God, not only reminding us, it is making him known to us in different ways, different names, different qualities, at higher and higher levels. And so every day is a new day, new creation, new level of iman. That's why the Prophet ﷺ says, if 2 days your iman is the same, it means it's going down. It has to be going up, because a new day is not created in vain. Mm-hmm. It's created to increase, to learn something new. And of course, it may seem like, but I don't have the time. It's not about time, it's about intention and commitment. We can allot short time, and it's not even time. When we are doing something else, I could also, practice this kind of reflection. And remember, in the hadith, we are told that God أحب الأعمال أدومها وإن قل. The most beloved deeds to God is the most regular and constant one, even if it's a little, even if it's.
Dr. Yamina, thank you for that. And I wanted to add another thing about the order. We just like, as we said, just like a fish in water, we are so much surrounded with order that we stop noticing it. Like the water, let's say the water that always boils in the same temperature. We don't say, well, today, my coffee, the water boiled at this temperature in 10 minutes. Yesterday it took 1 hour, and maybe tomorrow it will take 1 minute. It's so regular, so ordered, that we take it for granted, and all we experience is actually relative disorder to be able to appreciate order. But try to think about lack of order, I can't imagine any lack of order, because even when my kitchen is messy, there is an order in the sense that, you know, the excuse my example, but like the cleaning cloth that I leave wet always smells the same way, you know, and always, you know, smells after a certain time, and always the bleach, you know, later on restores it. But even when things are messy in the kitchen, it's a relative mess. In reality, the order is still ticking. You know, the air is still circulating. It starts still. So
maybe we can only compare, like, for instance, we take during the whole year, day and night, the length of the day and night changes. So it gives us, it's like a window for us to realize that something is going on. Like, it doesn't have to be a certain length. It's not half-half, for instance, necessarily. So, but always there is order, as you said.
yeah, so then when we look around, we should, inshallah, notice more order wherever we are. And then if there's an order, there must be, it can't be coincidental that it happens that, oh, what a luck. You know, if there is an order, there must be an order. Whether it's in the heavens and the earth or in my kitchen.
Not only there is order, but it's an order that has a result, that it's...
Yeah, that's the second thing. That
means there is purpose. That's why there is an order, a conscious, knowing, wise order, and he has the power to implement all this wisdom and all these results.
Dr. Yamina, it looks like we have someone who wants to share. Sister Amina.
Yeah, please do.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.
I've been thinking about the condition of the earth now and the ayat on the earth, whether it's the wildfires or the rivers so polluted that we can't drink from them, or the pollution in the air, or the pesticides that people use on the earth. And what's happening that's creating a great imbalance in the lives of the animals, and certainly in our own health and well-being. And I'm wondering, as you're speaking, if this for me is certainly a way for the mind and the heart to awaken and there's a need for people to start paying attention to all of created life. Otherwise, if we don't know how to live in balance with it. And in turn, it has an effect on us. So it comes to really respecting creation. It's not so much respecting the machines and the things. We can respect the things we make by hand, things that are made, but those things that are made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to really learn from them and stay in close relationship. And it makes me think about how far away people have come in their thinking to that which is created, our dependence to a degree, well, always on God. But the things that are on the earth are to help us, gifts from the sustainer in order to sustain life. And just all these earth changes make me think of how that connection has been lost and that need to regain that connection, to regain those wisdom teachings that a lot of indigenous people still hold in how to live in peace and concert on the earth with creation, with these beautiful gifts that are placed here to awaken the mind and heart to the presence of something greater.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, like last window or the window before was about the balance and the harmony. So definitely And so now order, and thank you for reminding us, is, so we saw there that there is a balance. And of course, if the balance is so meticulous, so precise, that when we meddle with it, then we cause lots of imbalance, and pollution is one case, for instance. Or we can see, we can perceive lots of things as kind of pollution. And it is mentioned, there is an ayah in the Quran that mentions pollutions in the earth and in the oceans. Yeah, so that's also part of order. And definitely, I think what you said is important, because maybe I'm thinking now, the fact that when we don't pay heed to the again and again repeated ayat, the invitations in the Quran, telling us that everything is an ayah. They are all signposts. They are all messengers from God. When we are not taking that seriously, we are not taking the Quran, the message, seriously, and also because we are not taking the creation seriously, and we don't appreciate them as much as they deserve. We look at them in a very self-centered way. If I benefit from you, I appreciate you only to the extent that what I benefit from you, otherwise you have nothing to do with my life. I have much more important issues and usually problems in my life. Actually, if we were giving these, the creation, everything in the creation is created for a purpose. And those purposes, those results and benefits are not only benefits, yes, they benefit our life, but in benefiting our life, they are making our creator, and I'm including all the creation, our maker known to us, and therefore they are helping us in fulfilling our purpose in life. And they are preparing us for our eternal life, our eternal happiness. And when we connect to them in that way as messengers from God, then we can truly respect them and appreciate them. They are like ambassadors from Rabbul Alameen, from God, from the divine, from the maker. Can you imagine? We respect an ambassador coming from somewhere, but not from God. And they are speaking and imparting onto us messages that are so valuable, because they concern not only our happiness here and now, but eternally. And so we would truly appreciate them, that we will really see their sacred value. It's something very, why I feel that it's very important, because sometimes it's sad to see that people say, okay, I know the Quran said they are ayat, we know that, now let's carry on. You don't know how they are ayat, and you are not, first, you are not studying the Quran with that intention, and once you study that, you also have to practice it. So when we start practicing this reasoning, we will start perceiving them as what they are. We will start receiving, communicating with the creation in a different way. And so our appreciation for them and our tarbiyah, they train us, they teach us. Of course, God is teaching us through them. So it will be a totally different experience of life, and we will understand and appreciate why in the Quran we are told again and again how everything is testifying to God, how we are supposed to be paying attention to them. And that's why I personally value this particular tafsir of Imam Nursi, the Risale Nur, because it emphasizes this point, because without the testimony of the creation, everything else is only taqlid. What is the testimony that the Prophet is the Prophet, that the Quran is truth? The Quran says, the testimony, go and look at the creation, you will find the evidence. And I say, okay, I am a Muslim, I believe in you, I don't need the evidence. Subhanallah. How come you don't need the evidence? It means we are not sincere in our claims. But this is something, it's not, just try it for a year. Try reflecting this way for a year. Try connecting with the creation in a new way, in this way. You will see that everything is so beautiful and so meaningful, and our own, what we think our big problems become smaller. They are the same, but we will have a new perspective when we are not drowned into those small problems. We will look at them, they are part of our life, and they are part of our life to teach us also. They are also part of the creation. They are also our friends, to teaching us something rather than, and that's the only way we can go out of that self-centeredness. That what happens when someone is drowned? Yeah, we become drowned in our self-centeredness.
Absorbed?
Sorry? Bolmak.
Huh?
Bolmak.
Bolmak. Yeah, drowning.
Yeah. We can drown into our self-centeredness and miss on the endless glory and beauty of the divine names, on that all our friends in the creation, all the creation is telling us about, and all the friendship and the love and that we could have at various levels, different realms in the world, and that our heart and soul need and crave for. We can, for instance, like if you can crave for to go by the ocean or to go to the forest, but if we go there and only have a physical connection, then it's okay, it's better than nothing. But it's not the same if we have the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual connection with the ocean, with the beach, with the forest, with the trees, with the squirrels around here, with the clouds, with the rain. They are all, none of them is created in vain. And we do destroy them when we are, destroy them even physically. Actively, this new so-called civilization is actively destroying them, because it's a civilization that is based on materialism and therefore does not recognize meaning and purpose in the creation. And this is happening there, but like, especially within this dominant culture, we need to hang on these teachings of the Quran even more seriously, and help each other and remind each other, rather than say, oh, again, like the rain, the heavens, the earth, like pass. Come, can we talk about relationships? We cannot order our relationships when we have not grown as human beings, and our humanity will grow in connection with the whole creation. And then we start finding that inner peace, that calmness, that broader perspective, that coming out of our self-absorption, being self-absorbed, and we start appreciating everything, including human being. And then our relationship with other human beings will start also transforming, and it becomes easier to work on it. But no, I want to stay in my dark corner. I want to stay in my disconnectedness, in my self-centeredness, and
I want to see God.
I want to have a harmonious relationship with the people around me. It's a little bit difficult.
And it's interesting that the verse that is cited in the beginning of this window, as you were sharing what comes before the verse, what comes after the verse refers to love of God. And you're like, wait a second, look around, the earth and the heavens and the earth and night and day. And then the next verse is about love. And it actually does connect if we try the way you are inviting us to. And just as a little anecdote, one of my friends from childhood, she had told me once that she was taking this geography class, and she wasn't the big science type. She was actually more literature type, but she said, I love geography, and I sit at the back of the class, I just smile because the teacher talked, and the teacher's like, what is this girl, like, what is this? And she's like, it's so nice, the earth has an atmosphere, like it's such a taken care of, and it's alternating, and the degree of tilting of the earth is perfect for the seasons, perfect for the, and she was, I just love it. I just feel like, I'm so like taken care of, and God is so generous. And then the teacher was puzzled, like, what is this kind of excitement about what I'm teaching? So we just, I guess, have to pay more attention to both the order, how things are so ordered, they happen with regularities, and also that they have benefits. I mean, the heavens and the earth. And it's just unfortunate that most of us have been through, public school system or some sort of, so-called scientific education. And it talks about order, it talks about benefits, but in such a disfigured, if you see what I mean, such a disfigured way. It talks about order, but as if it just happened. It just happens that water always boils like this, and the earth rotates.
Not only because of science, the other way around. It's because most of us, the scientists, are like us. That's why they present their data in that way. But because we don't learn it from science, science only re-emphasizes it our way. Even if
re-emphasizes, exactly. That's a great word. And so there is order, and yet as if it just, that's how it is. It has to be that way. And the benefits too. I mean, we know the benefits of the earth having an orbit and solar system. And yet as if those benefits just like that, it just happens. And so we really need to,
we take them for granted as Muslims. We're not talking about the one who doesn't care. As Muslims who are who have the intention, they are invested. Let's say we want to know God, we want to prepare for our eternal life. Then, even if we don't feel the need for it, it doesn't mean that we don't have the need. We are not aware of that need. If something is repeated again and again in the Quran, it means we need it that much. Think of it. How much do we need food? I mean, a few times a day. You can even eat once a day, like in Ramadan, it's enough. How much do we need liquids and water? More often. How much do we need air? Constantly. So it's like that. For instance, how much do we need Alhamdulillah? We are taught at least 17 times a day. It means we need to be grateful. If you practice gratitude, you will see that, oh, I needed it. This is what I needed when I was feeling empty, when I was feeling meaningless, when I was feeling whatever I do is not enough. That was what I needed. And the more you practice hamd, gratitude, the more gratitude to God, the more you start feeling that the heart and the soul are being satiated. So they also have needs, just like our physical body. And this connecting in a meaningful way with the rest of the creation is repeated so hundreds of times in the Quran. It means it is that much important. It is that much needed. Important not because God says, look, you have to do this or you don't enter paradise. Huh? No, it's not that way. It's like all these things are organic. It means I need it. And when I follow the guidance, I will realize that some needs that I was unaware of are being fulfilled, and that the glimpses, the joys of paradise, I will start tasting them and testifying to paradise here and now. Before I get there, I say, yes, this is haqq, this is the truth. And if I don't, all those, that pain, that meaninglessness, that things, and of course we are not totally present to the meaninglessness and the disconnection with the rest of the creation, because we are scared of facing that. And that's what heedlessness and mindlessness is about. That's what ghafla is about. So we avoid it. But the more we start connecting meaningfully with everything as an area and connecting to them and communicating to them, and we realize that there is a friendship, there is a deep connection between all of us, then we realize that, oh, I was living in total darkness, and that's why I could never find true inner peace, true joy. No wonder that time we wake up to that reality. So in the beginning, we need to surrender. That's why there is Islam, Iman, Ihsan. Islam at the beginning is a surrender at a lower level because we don't know yet. The more we know God and we trust Him, the more our Iman increases, the more our Islam is going to also increase. We will surrender more easily, more, trust more. But in the beginning, we need a minimum of investing and surrendering and following this guidance. Follow the guidance, and you say, I am a city girl. I'm not interested in this and that. Yeah, even in the city, there is the heavens and the earth. There is still, you put some plants around you. You have some garden around, like. And is it true, or is it me who is calling myself that way and bracketing out the world out as if they have nothing, building a wall against our heart and our soul, or around our heart and our soul. Sorry. So just be open and try it. It's a new experience, a new adventure. Follow the guidance of the Quran. Commit to apply these reasonings every day, a short time. Go out, just watch here. It's not even difficult. You don't have to go and drive to a forest because, mashallah, everywhere is trees and greens, and so it's easy. Just sit anywhere and you can watch the sky and watch the green and life around you, and you will start becoming more and more acquainted with the resulting divine names that all this creation, all the order and the resulting benefits are. Even when we don't see a physical material benefit, at least it's beautiful. It brings us peace. It's pretty to look at. And it may not seem beneficial to me, but it's beneficial to many other creatures. And I may have only flowers in my garden, but I could also have had many fruits and vegetables, for instance. So there are many ways, but when you sit there, you start feeling that awe and that gratitude, especially, and when we add this reasoning and look accordingly, we will start feeling in the presence of those names of God and start experiencing them and tasting them. And so our relationship with those beings, the creation, will be different, because now they are the reminders. They remind us of endless mercy, endless perfection, they remind us of that we are being taken care of, all of us here and now. Isn't that beautiful? That's what the ruh, the human spirit, needs the most. To be reminded again and again, to know, to be sure, to be certain that we are not alien in this world. We are not orphans. We are being taken care of. And this we includes myself. When I know my Rabb myself, then I will be at ease concerning the rest of our beloveds. And our beloveds are not only human beings. We love the trees and the mountains and everything, like the Prophet ﷺ said about the Mount of Uhud. Uhud, we love Uhud and Uhud loves us. We love Uhud, we love a mountain, I love this tree. We may understand that, but it loves us is totally another level of connecting with what appears like rocks. But we love it and it loves us. It is a mutual, conscious relationship. Can you imagine that your friendship and your beloveds extend to many other creatures around us? So can we see how the heart is going to extend, and the soul, the ruh, because all those things are reminding us of the beloved one, of the compassionate host. And when we see that they are being taken care of, it also reminds us that to calm down and trust and surrender our lives and surrender the lives of all the beloveds around us. They are all under good care. We do what we are inspired with without the worry and the fear and the anxiety. And whenever we have that fear and anxiety, it's again a reminder to remember who we are and who the host is.
Dr. Yamina, wanted to highlight for those of us who are from the city, the verse talks about things that we may call as natural. I mean, and then it also includes things that are what we will term as artificial. And so, I mean, man-made, human-made, right?
Yeah, but that would be harder for someone who is a newcomer to this way of perceiving things. It's very hard because we are already we have already been how do you say, not brainwashed, but conditioned. We have been conditioned, and we conditioned ourselves as well to look at things in a causal way. This makes this. And so to go out of that needs some training. So it's easier to start with not man-made things.
Definitely, definitely.
There are so many veils there.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. I just find
in the cities we still live in the world.
Yes, and we still breathe and we still walk on earth.
Still the clouds and still wind and rain, and if you look around, sometimes you find, like, from a rock or from between bricks, you see a little flower coming out. If you look, you will find.
Yes, yes. And this tip that we are getting here, the tip of the clue of looking at the order, trying to notice order is important. As things happening according to, what they call as laws, but according to patterns and regularities. And we see that everywhere. And I think that's one connecting link between the creation and also the things that look artificial, like the boats or the cars. They are working because there are all these laws of mechanics or laws that we consider.
Yeah. So order means laws, patterns.
Yeah. And this connects with a verse in Surah Al-Mulk, the Baraka, that attracted my attention the other day, because it said, look at the birds. Don't you see that nothing other than Ar-Rahman, the merciful, is holding them? And I was like, the first, as you said, the conditioning is the first thing you think is, well, there is laws or rules of aerodynamics, that is what is holding the birds. I do remember reading in a tafsir, a contemporary translation rendering of the Quran, in brackets, in the footnote it said, this points to the fact that the birds need air to fly, that it's the air, if it is vacuum, wouldn't be able to fly. So they made some connection that I couldn't follow. But basically we take it for granted that, of course, if given these laws of flying, the birds will fly. And the verse is saying, look at the birds, don't you see that nothing other than a Rahman is holding? So how do we understand this? We come back to the order. What is responsible for these so-called laws? If there's a law, if there's a rule, there must be somebody who is putting the rule in effect. We talked about this.
One is creating.
Yeah.
His creation, we deducing the pattern of his creation, we say it's a law. Not that there is a law and he has to follow it.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we were trying to come up with a rule in our house that, one day this person checks the kitchen and leaves it, clean at night, and then the other. And then immediately we broke the law rule that we made, because I'm too tired tonight. Can you do it? So the rules don't apply themselves. You can't say this is how the air particles are going to work and carry this much weight. And then, like, how is it going to happen? It has to be put into effect.
That's a good example, because here it's talking about rububiyah. The Rabb is like you are the Rabbat al-Bayt. You are the Rabb in your house. It means you put the rules and you arrange things so as to facilitate a smooth life that has beneficial results, whatever your purpose is. That's what Rabb is, very, very generally speaking. And so you see, you put the rules, it's easier to understand. You are the Rabb. And it's the same in the creation, because we tend to say, yeah, but those are the laws. Yeah, but the law is not the lawmaker. It is not doing anything, and it's not the order. If there is an order, it means someone is creating in an orderly way. Someone is creating in a particular pattern, and that's how we are deducing the pattern. I can't take it back and say, explain what's happening by means of the pattern that I deduced from the activity. I can't say, for instance, every evening you leave your kitchen clean, and I say there is a rule in this house. And so when they say, what's going on here? I say there is a rule, the rule of the kitchen is clean in the evening. Yeah, but someone put the rule and someone is doing the work. That's why he says here, a powerful maker and a Rabb. A Rabb means someone who is creating things to fulfill, to perfect things, so bringing the creation from one level to a better and better level. This is also one meaning of tarbiyah. So there are lots of things that I think if we sit every day and allot some time, commit to and reflect. So here there is a reasoning going on, but the reasoning is so simple that it does not preoccupy us. It's easy to notice the order and how this order leads to perfect results. Okay, go out, notice this. So now we are not thinking anymore because the reasoning is so simple. We go one step at a time. And so when we reflect on this, we focus on this, and we just looking for this, we will start realizing that something that transcends this creation. There is power going on here. There is everything is done knowingly, wisely. We will start witnessing this, feeling it, witnessing it, experiencing it, testifying it, perceiving it, being certain of it. And we will see, what we see is the rububiyyah. We will see the order. We will see the end. We will see that there is an orderer. There is a maker. He has the power to all this. The reflection is a reflection of the heart and the soul. Of the heart, it will be, once we get to the names of God, it will be food for the soul. So when we are reflecting, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the more you stay, the better it is. Every day, that reflection, we are not in our, it's not a mental activity, because the mental part is clear. Order, beneficial results. That's it. Now, listen. Take it in, watch, appreciate, stay there, listen, what's going on? How do I feel? How is this impacting me? What's going on here? Stay with that awe, with that appreciation, with that it's a commitment that is really, really worth it. This is the way we are going to get to know God. This is the way we are going to perform the Shahada, truly testify to God. This is the way our Iman is going to increase, a true Iman. And this is the way we are going to start believing in Akhirah. Without the beautiful names of God, we cannot be certain of Akhirah. And Akhirah is, if we're not sure, that's why Akhirah and belief in God are interconnected very closely, because unless I know God with his beautiful names that are eternal, then I cannot be certain of Akhirah, of life after death. But this life after death is not any life. It's a life where God, with all his beautiful names, is there. That's why we look forward to it. Because what we are afraid is not that tomorrow I die or not, or I am here or not, or something will happen in this place or not. No, what I am truly worried about, or concerned, more than worried, concerned about, is that the rahmah, the compassion, the love, the mercy, the generosity, the giving of life, the power, all these beautiful attributes are still there tomorrow, whether in this world or another world, whether in this form or in another form. It doesn't matter. What matters is it's always beautiful, it's always merciful, it's always generous, it's always knowingly, it's always purposeful, meaningful. Shall we carry on, inshallah?
Inshallah, yes, we have a bit more time.
So after that, it says also, so it's getting a little more in the same kind of reasoning, but more detailed. Just as being given their sustenance with perfect mercy. So within this order, for instance, everything is being given their sustenance in an orderly way and in a merciful way. So now it's adding to wisdom and power, it's adding mercy. Given their sustenance with perfect mercy and being clothed in different forms with perfect wisdom. I mean, look at the birds, for instance. Each bird, their beaks, and at least their beaks, their wings, and even their forms, and their size, and the size and shape of their legs is totally in harmony with the environment and makes it easy for them to, for instance, get their sustenance. So all these things are interrelated as well. Everything is interconnected in a very harmonious, balanced way. SubhanAllah. The order is so intricate and so beautiful. So, and they are being clothed in different forms with perfect wisdom and being checked out with all sorts of senses. I mean, most animals, those who can run, they run faster than us. Those who can see, they see. Their sight spectrum is much wider, subhanAllah. And they hear with all sorts of senses through perfect rububiyyah. All these acts are acts of rububiyyah. Each of all the animals on the land and in the sea, all of them, it's clearly the one, the Rabb, the creator, the maker on the land is the same as the one in the sea, because they all follow the same laws, the same order. The sea, again, they testify to this rububiyyah, this perfect rububiyyah testifies in the land and in the sea, testifies to the existence of the all-powerful one of glory and indicates his unity. He is only one everywhere. And so in their totality, so if you look at each species, for instance, each animal is species, and then you look at all of them because we can generalize, because whoever is taking care of one must be the one who's taking care of all of them. They all have similar needs. In their totality, they show on a vast scale the tremendousness of his Godhead, his uluhiyah, and the perfection of his rububiyyah. So he is one God, Allah. God means the one who we adore, we worship, we ask all our needs from him. Why is he God? Because his rububiyyah is perfect. He is the only Rabb. So too, just as each of the well-ordered plants, so it was the animals, now it's the plants, in gardens and the finely adorned flowers which the plants display, and the well-proportioned fruits which the flower display, one in each other. Can you see? It's like there is interconnectedness between different things. And when you look at one thing, it's like concentric circles, one within the other. The plant has fruit, the flower has fruit. For instance, tomato, and then you have a small yellow flower, and then the tomato starts growing, which the flower displays, and the embellished embroideries which the fruit displays from outside and inside too, testifies to the existence of the all-wise. It was the all-powerful, and here it's the all-wise maker, and points to his unity. And so in their totality, the totality of all the plants, they show most brilliantly the beauty of his mercy and the perfection of his dominicality, of his rububiyyah. So now the order is being spelled out for the animals and for the plants. And as we are spelling out, the mercy is coming in as well, because there is sustaining as well. There is creating in a way that fulfills needs as well. But the reasoning is still the same: order with beautiful, beneficial, wise results. The results are being also more detailed here. They're more explicitly. And also, just as the drops of rain, so rain is water, sent from the clouds in the sky. If you notice, we are following also the ayah at the beginning. The ayah at the beginning also talks about the clouds and the rain, heavens and the earth, charged with duties. Can you see here? The drops of rain are charged with duties. This is very important, because when we have not learned to look at things in this way, our conditioned way is the drops are doing something. So it's not only that we learn it at school, it's that the people who wrote those textbooks have been conditioned in the same way as us, meaning without the guidance of revelation, the default way of being is ghafla, disconnectedness, shirk. So here it's important. In the ayah it says sakhara, they have been employed, they have been given to your service, put at your service. So here the drops of rain coming from the clouds in the sky are charged with duties for important instances. Important instances, again, is the beneficial result of wisdom and aims and necessary benefits and results. Again, demonstrate to the number of the drops the necessary existence and unity and perfect rububiyyah of the all-wise maker. So too do all the mountains on the earth and the storing up in them of minerals. If you learn how the mountains work and how they are alive, there is activities going on all the time in there. It's like so amazing. So without seeing them, just reading about it, you feel so amazed. With all their, it's not that we think they are filled with minerals and that's it. No, the minerals and everything is being stored right now. They are being produced. It's like a huge factories going on now, right now. Everything is alive. Everything is organically alive. That's why those stories we have, like everything will end, all the resources, and think, well, it doesn't mean that we're wasting, maybe because people are wasting, using much more than they need, but actually all kinds of minerals and things are being produced right here and now. It's amazing. The mountains on the earth and the storing up in them of minerals with all their different properties for numerous different benefits. Those minerals also have benefits. Can you see everything again, one within the other? Show the strength and firmness of a mountain. With the strength and firmness of the mountain, the existence and the unity of an all-wise maker and the perfection of his dominicality, of his rububiyyah. I want to share some passages from the Quran so that we see that there is an insistence. Repeatedly, we are told about these things that we take so much for granted, so much that as if they are not important, as if we can waste them and use them and waste them as we wish. Astaghfirullah. So, for instance, in Surah Al-Rum, Surah Al-Rum is a very, I love this surah, very, very meaningful. I mean, they are all, but this one particularly. So it's Surah number 33, and I'm going to share ayah from 46 to 50.
Surah number is 13 or 33?
30, Rum. 33.
33, and the verse number?
From 46 to 50.
Okay, thank you.
So we're told, and one of his ayat, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and some of his, actually, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and some of his signs are that he sends the winds ushering in good news of rain, so that he may give you a taste of his mercy, of his rahmah. And that ships may sail by his command, bi amrihi, by his command is very important. You see, the law is his command. And that you may seek his fadl, his grace, his bounty, and perhaps you will be, and that you may be grateful. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Indeed, we sent before, so this is important. Look at this here. It says, we sent before you messengers, each to their own people, and they came to them with clear proofs, bayinat. Then we inflicted punishment upon those who persisted in wickedness, for it is وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And this is how we help the believers. Now in 48, we are told, it is God who sends forth the winds so that they raise a cloud, whereupon he spreads it over the sky as he wills and causes it to break up so that you see rain issue from within it. And as soon as he causes it to fall upon whomever he wills of his servants, lo, they rejoice. Now, just in 46, it says, it is God who sends the winds and the rain, so you can taste, he gives you a taste of his mercy, so that you may be grateful. In 47, it says, whenever we send the messenger, we send them with clear proofs. 48, so what are the clear proofs? The clear proofs are the ones mentioned in 46 and 47. 47 and 48. Sorry, 46 and 48, because that's 47. And the rest is all about that. So can you see that the messengers bring clear evidence, clear proofs of their messages? What are the proofs we are told? It's not mentioned explicitly, but what comes right after is an explanation of the previous ayah. In the previous ayah, it was, we sent the good news of rain to make you taste our mercy. In 48, that is now explained more. It says, it is God. Because when we say, we sent you the rain, how do we understand it in our conditioning? The rain is coming, but you know, I am a Muslim, or I'm a believer in God, generally. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim or just a believer in God. Therefore, it must be God that sent it. Do you have an evidence? No. When you go to school and they insist that it's not God, I am like, okay, you say so, but I resist that. I am either in conflict, or I say these two are two different worlds. And this is my private feeling, my private with God. And this is religion, and this is science. Science tells us about the world. Religion is how to pray to God. Whatever it means. Doesn't make sense, but here it says no. The clear proof is, so it says God sends the rain. Now it is saying again, it is God who sends forth the winds. You say the winds follow an order, a rule, a law. Just a second. What is that law? Who is doing it? A law is a pattern. It's an ordered pattern. That ordered pattern must have an order. Someone is doing things in a particular orderly way. That someone, we are told, that someone is God. Go and that's the evidence. So it is God who sends forth the winds so that they raise a cloud, whereupon he spreads it over the skies as he wills, and causes it to break up so that you see rain issue within it. And as soon as he causes it to fall, he causes it to fall upon whomever he wills. If it doesn't rain here, who can make it rain here? Of his servants. Lo, they rejoice. Although they had utterly lost hope just before it was sent down, see then the impact of God's mercy, how he gives life to the earth after its death. So it was how rain falls, the cycle of rain, and now it's how water comes in, and lo and behold, everything is coming back to life. Surely that same God will raise the dead, for he has the power to will anything. And in Surah Al-Furqan, Surah 25, again from ayah 47 to 50, subhanallah, it's the same numbers. We are told, he is the one who has made the night for you as a cover, and he made sleep for resting and the day for rising. And he, meaning God, the one, it is who sends forth the winds as a glad tiding of his coming rahmah, of his coming mercy. And we here is God speaking, pure water to descend from the sky. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً طَهُورًا. And so that you may bring, we may bring dead land to life thereby, and give to drink thereof to many. So we are sending this, and then it says, so there's one area, how the clouds are coming, and then rain is falling. The second is, look at the impact of the water on the earth. All these plants coming and all these animals benefit drinking from the water and eating from the food from the plants. So you see, there is rain here, animals and plants are all mentioned here. Why are we, and therefore, and so that they drink and benefit from it, beasts as well as human beings. We have repeated this to them many times, so they might be mindful, but most people persist in ingratitude. And this here, صرفناه ولقد صرفناه بينهم ليذكروا فأبى أكثر الناس إلا كفورا, is understood as a reference to the frequent reiteration in the Quran of the ayats in the creation as evidence to God, to his rububiyyah. It says we are, sarrafna is more than repeat. It's like making it clear, details, and repeatedly. Yet, why are we repeating this? لِيَذَّكَّرُوا, so that they may be mindful, so they remember, so they be present. Yet, فَأَبَى, yet most people persist. أكثر الناس, most people insist in remaining kafur, ungrateful. And ungrateful, remember, kafur is like it's an intensive form, and it's not only ungrateful, but it's also covering up the truth, not wanting to see the reality. It's very, very, I think it's, subhanallah, very meaningful. And in Surah Qaf, which is Surah 50, the first 16 ayahs, so Qaf is the letter Qaf. By the glorious Quran, all will be resurrected, yet the deniers are astonished that a warner has come to them from among themselves, warning of resurrection. So the disbelievers said, this is an astonishing thing. Will we be returned to life when we are dead and reduced to dust? Such a return is impossible. We certainly know that what the earth consumes of them after their death, and with us is a well-preserved record. In fact, they reject the truth when it has come to them, so they are in a confused state. Have they not then looked at the sky above them, how we built it and adorned it with stars, leaving it flawless? As for the earth, we spread it out and placed upon it firm mountains and produced in it every type of pleasant plant, all as an insight and a reminder to every worshipper who turns to God. And we sent down from the skies water rich in blessings, and we caused thereby gardens to grow and fields of grain, and towering palm trees loaded with clustered fruit as a provision for our servants or our worshippers. And with this rain, we revive, or this water, We revive a lifeless land. Similar is the emergence from the graves. Before them, the people of Noah denied the truth, as did the people of the water pit, Thamud and Ad, Pharaoh, and all those. Each rejected their messenger, so my warning was fulfilled. Were we incapable of creating them the first time? In fact, they are in doubt about their recreation or their first creation. Indeed, it is we, God is saying, we who created humankind, and we fully know what their souls whispers to them, and we are closer to them than their jugular vein. Now, we have these people who are saying, how can we be resurrected again? People die, you put them in the earth, they disappear. So it means they're identifying with their physical body, with the flesh and bones. The answer is, look at they are in confused, it says this state of theirs is a confused state. How do we get out of that confusion? Have they not looked at the sky above them? And the sky, the rain, the stars, the rain, the plants, this, that. It's like, one example that comes to my mind is, if we never had seen that when someone lifts heavy weight, their muscles develop, we wouldn't believe it. Think about it. It doesn't make sense. If we look at reason on its own, without the witnessing, without testifying the creation, the order and the creation in the creation, it looks like the more I lift things, the more I will get tired and weak. And that's not how it works. That person becomes stronger. The more we memorize things, you would think, oh, my head is going. I remember as a kid, there was someone who was saying, when I was a kid, it was like we had lots of things to memorize. We memorized poetry in Arabic and in French. It was like elementary school, half day Arabic, half day French. We repeated everything in 2 languages. And you had to, in Arabic, we had to memorize not only the poems, but grammar rules as well, for instance. So every day there was lots of memorizing. And I remember a friend telling me, like, isn't that too much? Our head, there would be no room in my head after a while. And we were laughing, but it's not true. The more we memorized, the better we became at memorizing. Our memory got much stronger. So it's the same here. It seems that there is no relationship or a seed and a tree, unless if we had never known that a tree is created from a seed, no one would be able to imagine it because it's not something rational. It's something that we experience in the world. It is the same with this. We have this confusion. We cannot have certainty of akhirah. How can we, let alone God in the beginning, we don't know who is God. How can we be resurrected? What does it mean? We will die. People die and that's it. They are put in a grave and they disappear, he says. And we would think rationally, convince me, show me, or like give me evidence of the existence of the soul of this or that. No, it doesn't say that. It says, go and have they not looked at the sky, at this and that? Because the more we look at the sky and this and that, we will see that matter is created with a purpose. Matter is not the aim, and it is not the end of things. Matter is serving an aim, it's serving purposes, it's serving meaning. It's like if you have a piece of paper and writing on it, that writing, I mean, let's say it's meaningful writing, that the ink and the paper are serving the purpose of the meaning. If I'm leaving you a note, like I'll come back at this time, don't wait for me, that the meaning of the message is what you are interested in, and the paper and the ink there and the writing and the shapes are all secondary. They are serving an aim, and so is matter everywhere. It is serving an aim, it is serving life, it is serving consciousness, it is serving the meaning of the beautiful names of God. And then we can go out of that state of consciousness when we start connecting with the rest of the creation at deeper level, at the level of meaning, at levels of purpose. Then that connection will bring out into us all kinds of different subtle and now hidden emotions, and the heart will expand, and we will start living more from the soul. It means it will increase our consciousness, our awareness of who we are and what the world is about. So we won't be stuck in matter. It will be clear to us that matter is at the service of something much more important and bigger. Mm. And then you say, oh, like, how come they are in confusion? Of course, we were not talking about these people out there who deny resurrection. There is a part of us that is not sure about resurrection. It is talking to us, to me. I am the one reading the Quran and studying it, not those people. So it's very, very, and you see each time it's coming back to the sky, the rain, the plants, the animals, and that's how we get to know how God will resurrect us and Akhirah. Why? Because that's how we get to know God's mercy. And that's how we get to know that God is the soul, is the creator. He says, it is we who create human being. We are the one creating in you now. Why do you think that after you are put in a grave, he cannot recreate you? Who said? In Surah Al-Zukhruf,
our time is drawing close, so
inshallah. But it's just few verses.
Sure. I mean, I just wanted to, if you want to share another verse, I can pull up here.
Surah 43, and from ayah 9 to 15, we are told, if you ask them, who created the heavens and the earth, they will certainly say, the Almighty, all-knowing did. He is the one who has laid out the earth for you and set it in pathways, for you so that you may find your way. And it is he who sends down again and again water from the sky in due measure. And we raise therewith dead lands to life. Even thus you will be brought forth from the dead. And he is the one who creates all things in pairs and makes for you ships and animals to ride, and so that you may sit firmly on their back and remember your sustainers, your Rabb's blessings once you are settled on them, saying, Glory be to the one who has subjected, this is the dua that we say, these for us, subhanaka. For we could have never done so on our own. And surely to our sustainer we are returning. Yet they assign some of his own creatures to him as offspring. Human being is clearly ungrateful. وَجَعَلُوا لَهُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ جُزْءًا إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَكَفُورٌ مُبِينٌ. He is clearly ungrateful. And not to be clearly ungrateful, what do we need to do? It says, they say, who created the heavens and the earth? The Almighty, all-knowing one. But then they don't know him. It says, okay, then go and look. If you want to know God as the Almighty, then he it is who sends down again and again rain from the sky. He does this, he does that. It's again animals, plants, water, rain, because of course rain is related to the life of animals and plants and our own life. And if only when we reflect on this, when we start knowing God with his beautiful names, we can truly be grateful to him. And a sign of gratitude is appreciating his creation. Appreciating is not only that, for instance, it's not only quantitatively, for instance, not wasting water. That's part of it, definitely. But it's also a qualitative appreciation. Water is a friend. Water is a reminder of God. Water is a messenger from God. It is mirroring the names of God. It is glorifying God. And when you learn how to listen to it, you just put it there and it glorifies God. And that's when there is a lots of water, then it speaks to us and as we speak to it. And Imam Nursi, rahimahullah, he says at the very beginning, I think in the second word, he says, for the disbelievers or those who live in ghafla, in mindlessness, they imagine oceans and the mountains and think as inanimate things. No, they are glorifying God. They are our beloved friends. They are our teachers, our friends on this journey to eternity, to knowing God, to getting close to God. Sure. And of course, there are also lots of verses on reflection and contemplation, and maybe we can share those, some of those next time, inshallah. I just wanted to emphasize again, because you can read this sixth window again and again, and you will see that each paragraph is detailing, giving us clue, telling us what does it mean that we look for order. For instance, he's saying this. This is all part of the order. And what are these beneficial results? He is also spelling different beneficial results in the different realms that are all mentioned in the ayah at the beginning. And what was the ayah at the beginning again? The ayah at the beginning actually is, maybe we should, it was in the creation and of the heavens and the earth, and the alternation of night and day, and the boats that go through it, there are benefits for people. And in what God sends down from the sky as rain. So all this there is like the heavens, the creation of the heavens and the earth is very orderly. The alternation of day and night and day is also points to an order, and many laws are connected to it. And the boat traveling through the seas also travels according to order, and they benefit people at the end. And what God sends down from the sky as rain, and it raises to life the earth after its death and raises in it all sorts of living being. And in the circulating of the winds and the clouds, subjugated. Subjugated also has two meanings. First, it is given at the service of human being, but it is as a service, it means to benefit them. The heavens, these, so the order and the benefits, in these there are signs for people, لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ, for people who use their reason. And once we grasp this reasoning, the reasoning is so simple that when we are involved in reflection, we are not distracted with thinking again and reflect, because we can be trapped in our mental activities. No. Stay there and just focus on the order and the results. And if you're not sure about the order, just read the sixth window. You are given different examples, whether animals or plants or whatever you choose. And the more we become familiar with this and we witness the power and the majesty and the beautiful names of God there, the more the shirki way that we've been conditioned with, the default way of ghafla, where it seems like things are happening themselves. It seems like the law is doing it. It seems like water itself is coming down. That way of seeing will just recede. It will disappear. So instead of just fill the cup with the new way of looking at things, and the other one will disappear. So there's no need to keep refuting, because as we are refuting it, we are still being busy with it and not building anything in its stead. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, Dr. Yamina. Alhamdulillah.
One wants to, okay, I'll make the dua, and then if you have anything to share, please go ahead. Subhanallah, ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim, wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين يا أرحم الراحمين. Thank you. آمين.
جزاكم الله خير. In the comment box, somebody has written that when you were talking about water and other creatures, that yes, they are our friends in this journey as evidence and friends. Inshallah, we can with that beautiful awareness, inshallah. Thank you. Yeah.
I was just going to say it's a very interesting discussion because anyway, I feel like it brought many threads together and tied them together. Because I'm one of the people who would wonder why, I mean, the emphasis on natural phenomena that don't exist in some geographic locations would leave me feeling a little, not because of me personally, but because I am familiar that some geographic locations have some natural phenomena, like rain doesn't exist in some places, and greenery doesn't exist in other places, and desert doesn't exist exist in other places. And such references sometimes left me feeling wondering whether how people are understanding this, and whether these references were really bringing forth the awareness of God the way the discussion goes. But for sure, there's always a sky, and I'm a skyist and a cloudist. I love watching the sky and following the clouds. And I've been thinking recently, if there is a new therapy I would love to learn about or coin or something or pursue, is a gazing at the cloud and the sky therapy, because it's quite amazing for me. So this discussion this evening brought a number of issues together clearly in my mind. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Maha. And thank you everyone. Jazakumullah khair for joining us. And those of you who are wondering, inshallah, this will be available on YouTube, and feel free to subscribe to Receiving Nur YouTube channel. And if you're not already receiving, you can also subscribe for Receiving Nur newsletter, weekly newsletter, by going to the website receivingnur.org. Jazakumullah khair again, Dr. Yamina, and thank you very much everyone for joining us tonight, and may we live with this awareness and meet again inshallah next week.
And please join us on Friday at 8.
Yes, inshallah. Inshallah.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Inshallah, Jazakallah khair, Sister Yamina, and everyone who contributed.